Welcome back to Kingdom of Nerds. This is the Power Hour. I'm Brucifer. That's my co-host Zach, Tales of a True Believer, and we have special guests JJ and Nerdy Geek tonight, and we're going to be having a discussion about the Odyssey. It will be a spoiler review because it's been 3 days, so it's long enough. So we're going to give the good, the bad, and then our final thoughts. But before that, we have some quick topics to talk about and news, I think. Do we have news? I think I have news. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hanging in there, dude. How are you today?
Oh, pretty good. I'm really hyped to talk about this because I want to see what everybody thinks about this, and I don't know, see if everybody's on the same page or different pages or just so far off the page that we have a big disagreement about how good or bad this movie was. So, but before, we got people in the chat. Oh, CJH is here. Hey, greeting. Ed LeBeau. Hopefully more people wandering. But before that, we're going to get into some news. If I can find the newsreel. Oh, there we go. All right. Netflix has revealed that roughly 300 of their TV shows have used generative AI at some point in the production process. Netflix paid $587 million for Ben Affleck's AI company. Is this shocking to you guys that they're using so much AI in their TV shows without telling anyone?
I'm shocked.
It's shocking how little is in there.
Yeah.
Sorry, JJ.
I was gonna say, I'm shocked that Ben Affleck owns an AI company.
I didn't know he owned one either.
Yeah, I listened to him do an interview about it not too long ago and talking about what his company does. And I think the thing with the industry is how can you make something for cheaper and quicker? And that's what this is doing. And so whether we like it or not, that's where the business is going. I think one of the things that he said that I really felt good about was that he said it's never going to write stories. There's no way you're ever going to replace human beings writing stuff. There's no way. But to help with VFX and to make things quicker and faster so that they can get stuff out there for cheaper, then that's where the industry is going to go, just because it costs a lot to make a movie and it costs a lot to do definitely post-production and VFX stuff and CGI. So, it stinks, but I'd rather it be used for that kind of purpose instead of being used to actually write stories and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, I think as long as they let their customers know in the beginning that AI was used in the process for this film, I think it should be all right. That gives the consumer the choice if they want to watch it or not.
Yeah, that's how I always saw it. Like even when it comes to comic books, I know in the comic industry everyone is saying no AI, but I feel like as long as they let us know first, then we can, make our votes with our wallets, whether we buy it or not.
exactly.
Yeah, because sooner or later, more and more studios are going to start using AI, whether it be just for editing or adding maybe some shading or some type of cinematography, lighting or something. I don't know if it will work for scripts and writing. And
Yeah,
I know there's an AI actor that they created that I haven't seen it, but
it's where in the process it's being used. And like if they're creating logos for the movie with AI, who cares? Or marketing,
yeah.
But if you're creating storylines, trailers, even I don't know, that might be pushing it a little bit too much. But editing, maybe some. But editing is an important part of telling a story in a movie a lot of times. So
yeah.
Yeah, true. So it's just another step forward for Netflix and see where it goes. I don't think anybody's going to unsubscribe to Netflix because of it.
No.
No.
And they're being forthcoming about it. So, if we found out about it later and they were trying to hide it, I think that would have been bad for them. But them admitting it, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah. All right, then we moving on to Kevin Feige on Blade, still being in development. I feel like a gigantic loser and a failure that we didn't get off the ground with Mashallah Ali. I think this is, even though it's still in development, I think Mahershala Ali is out. I think he's out as Blade. I think it's been too long. I think they should try a new actor, and Feige takes another L. Like I said, hashtag fire Feige. I've been saying it for 2 years now.
No.
Feige gets too much grace. He should have been fired a long time ago. He should have walked out the door before Kathleen Kennedy.
That was the Marvel hate.
How is that Marvel hate?
Because he's leading Marvel Studios.
Callie thinks Wesley's coming back.
No,
He already did.
Yeah.
What I will tell you is that I think just from chatter, I guess, hearing, through all the little different channels, is that he's going to still be around, but they're going to have him in a Midnight Suns movie and lead Midnight Suns movie with like some of the more dark stuff in the Marvel universe. So like bringing in Man-Thing and Moon Knight, I think also is what I heard. And so sucks not getting a Blade film by itself proper, but a Midnight Suns film I think could be pretty sick. So we'll see if that's announced here coming up at Comic-Con.
I mean, when they first announced him, I thought he was a good pick, but even then, and it's been 10 to 12 years since he was first announced. Even then, I thought they were pushing it for his age. Now it's just like way too late, I think.
He still looks young though. Like he doesn't look like an old man. So I think you can get away with it.
He still looks young, but the thing about Wesley Snipes is he was doing all this stuff. I don't see Mahershala Ali being able to do all the stunts like Snipes was doing.
I mean, he did play college basketball. I mean, he is an athletic dude. And Wesley Snipes did look old as hell in Deadpool Wolverine. I no disrespect to Wesley, but he did look old.
That's true, but I mean, that's a whole different thing than his first 3 Blade movies.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Yeah, I agree. But I think he can do a good job. And I think if they go Midnight Suns route, I think it's going to be really cool.
Hey, I liked him in Marvel Zombies. I thought he did great in that, and he had a pretty big role.
Cool. Yeah, that was a cool show.
I think please, this whole campaign of wanting Wesley Snipes back is ridiculous. He's too old. We need fresh new faces. This is the problem with Marvel and Marvel fans. They don't want to see these actors recast or replaced or a new generation takeover. It's ridiculous. We still got Robert Downey Jr. and freaking Hugh Jackman. They're like 70. Come on.
They're just not doing it. Like they already cast him as Blade. Like the recast is done.
What up, Trev?
Yeah, that's true, JJ. I mean, he's already been recast.
Well, if we're gonna recast Blade, who would you want to see as Blade?
For sure.
Aaron Pierce. Aaron Pierce is everyone.
Like if you can turn 50, how old is Keanu Reeves? 56-year-old Keanu Reeves into an actor, like you can make this dude look like an action movie star too. It's not that hard with the right stuff. But.
How did Callie get unbanned? How did he get back in here? I don't even know.
I let him in.
Yeah, I figure you did. But this is when did they first announce Blade? What, 2015, 2014?
It's been like 10, 12 years at least.
Yeah.
He came out with the Eternals, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. How hard is it to make a goddamn Blade movie?
I know. Give me Dracula, dude. Dracula's cool.
They should have asked for Morbius in the deal somehow and worked it into a Spider-Man movie. Problem solved.
Yeah, dude.
We've gotten a Morbius movie, 2 Venom movies, and we still haven't been able to get a Blade movie come out. And we got the Kraven movie. Kraven movie.
It's a race between this and the Batman Part 2. What's going to come out first?
Well, that one's been delayed again.
It has. That's what I'm saying. It just keeps getting delayed and delayed.
And we got Ryan Coogler came out with the best vampire movie in a decade. He created a freaking vampire hunter.
But he's busy with
You're not going to set Blade in the 1930s.
Yeah. But he's also busy with Black Panther, so like he has no time to put into this, because they're getting ready to recast Black Panther here coming up and all that stuff too. So like, which is I think gonna be pretty cool. We'll see.
Whoever gets cast to have fighting ability like Michael Jai White, good luck getting Sonny to give up character for use. Bruce, I thought you fired Nerdy. That's what you said last night. He was fired. Mama Bear brought him back.
Thank you, Mama Bear.
Craven was decent. And Morbius was decent. That's all I have to say. But if you notice, if you guys seen Sinners, all the wardrobe was from the original concept for Blade.
What's up, Dungeon Comic Crawler?
They had costumes designed, they had sets built, and they scrapped it. And Ryan Coogler, no, I'll buy that for a discount.
The part that will be missed will be Wesley Snipes' method acting of never breaking character on the set, and writing notes to everybody signed Blade.
Yeah. Let's not forget that the third Blade was pure trash. That third movie was pure garbage, hot steaming pile of garbage.
I enjoyed it. It was not the best of them, but I enjoyed it.
Triple H was in that one
as a villain.
I think the best part of that movie was I forgot her name that played the female vampire. When Ryan Reynolds told her, what do you call that? Cum guzzling thunder cunt. I still use that to this day, damn it.
When I saw Ryan Reynolds in Blade Trinity, I'm like, he'd make a good Deadpool.
Yeah, that's basically what he said he was doing in that movie.
Third Blade had good parts, just nothing with Triple H.
That movie.
That whole vampire thing was ridiculous.
Jessica Biel was great in that movie.
She was horrible in that movie.
Also, the dude in that movie from Prison Break that played Dracula, whatever his name was in the movie. Was not good.
It was not good. But all right, let's move on to the final topic. Well, maybe one more. A judge has ordered a temporary halt to the Paramount Warner Brothers merger. A state coalition argued the merger would violate federal antitrust laws, leading to higher prices and fewer movies and TV shows. If the deal has not closed by September 30th, Paramount will start to owe millions of dollars a day to Warner Brothers investors. It was halted for 14 days. I believe August 3rd is when they go before the judge and present their final arguments, and then she will decide if a permanent stay is ordered, injunction is ordered until the end of the proceedings. And also, if you guys missed it, the shareholders at Paramount are suing the Ellisons because they worked out an illegal deal, criminal deal with the White House to get the deal through the DOJ faster. So, this merger's having a lot of problems.
So stupid.
I just want my Star Trek. That's all I care about.
Yeah. This has kind of gotten to the point with me where I just let me know what happens. Wake me up when September ends. Like, yes, dude. I don't care anymore. Like, this has just gotten so politicized. It's in that world now. And so like the movie entertainment industry aspect of it has taken a back seat. So like, I don't really care anymore. Like, just let me know what happens in September. We'll see what happens. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
Zach's right. This is basically just political theater now. It has little to nothing to do with the actual movie industry or television industry. This is all politics now, and that's all it is.
Yes, and there was a report that came out this morning that members of the FCC received gifts from Paramount.
I'm sure they did.
Shocked.
I will tell you though, everybody does that. So they're just the ones getting caught. So like paying kids in college play football under the table, and all that kind of stuff. Like everybody does.
That's legal now.
Yeah, Michigan just got caught, and the stealing signs and doing all that. Like everybody does the bullshit. So like, yeah, it's the gross side of the business that I don't like, but it's the reality of the world that we live in. So
hey, Paramount, I've watched Star Trek all my life. Send me some free stuff.
Yeah, I'll take free stuff too.
All I wasn't gonna talk about this, but Zach and I did a reaction video earlier to the trailer. So if you want to see our reaction, please head over there and check it out. But since we're all here, I think everyone saw the trailer, right?
What trailer?
The Avengers Doomsday trailer.
Nope.
You didn't see it?
Yeah, I did.
All right. What did you guys think of the trailer? I want to hear your thoughts on the trailer before we get into some Odyssey talk.
I bought my tickets today. How about that? Does that say anything?
No.
It's so funny about that pre-sale stuff because, like, when the Odyssey did their pre-sale thing like a year in advance, I was like, "Oh, dang, dude, it's probably gonna be crazy when it comes out." And then I was able to get a ticket opening day, so like, I'm not gonna fall.
I don't know how that's working.
I don't know how that's pre-sale movie ticket for a long time.
There's no need.
Yeah.
I mean, where I'm at, I'm in an area where we have like 5 million people, 6 million, so I gotta pre-order my tickets. Otherwise, I'm not seeing it opening weekend.
Yeah.
I feel that.
My comic store, I think my comic store is gonna rent out the theater again, like they did for Supergirl and Spider-Man.
That's cool.
Wow. Now, do they sell tickets? How does that work?
Yeah, the theater was full for Supergirl.
No, I mean, like, does the comic shop didn't sell tickets, or
they offer it to their customers, and they it's 132 that's in that theater.
They make you buy like a 1/100 variant to...
No, you just pay the $15. That's it.
Okay.
Nice.
That's cool.
So
that'd be a great group to see it with, though. A bunch of comic fans.
Yes, comic fans and their wives. There was a lot of blankets in that theater. I was like, why so many people have blankets?
Because they were doing stuff under the blankets.
Why indeed?
Whoa.
So JJ, what'd you think of the trailer?
I mean, it was everything I expected it to be. I don't know. Like, I didn't see anything that like wowed me.
Yeah.
It looked more like, kind of what I'm expecting it to be at this point, which is a lot of guest appearances of other Marvel characters and and Doom in there. So I don't know. First trailers are always kind of just that, it's kind of what you expect. There's no real curveballs usually, so we'll see. But I'm excited for it all the same.
Yeah, I was. It was, I don't know. I was underwhelmed for the trailer. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was dark. It was a dark trailer. Yeah. So I think that I'm hoping the movie's not that dark, but it seems like it will be.
Yeah.
Bruce will spend enough at his LCL, they charge him less. Looked like all the heroes were gathered, so now we just need all the villains gathered, and we can start Secret War.
Yeah. Such an insightful, deep comment, Callie. That was beautiful.
He's not wrong.
He isn't.
That's what I feel like it is. It's just a vehicle for the next thing. But
yeah.
Do you think Doom is the only villain in that's going to be in Secret Wars?
He's definitely the main one, where there'll be people working for him, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because they gotta. I mean, there's definitely going to be a giant, big battle, and I don't think it's going to be everybody just versus Doom by himself. I'm sure he's going to have some. We'll have another little end game type army battle, I would assume, before everything all goes to shit and everything blows up and we end up in Battle World.
All right. So we've had enough of that. I guess we'll start with the Odyssey. And we'll start with the good. All right, that's going. All right, good. Spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie or you haven't seen the movie, you can leave now because the rest of the show will be about the Odyssey and we're going to spoil it. And if you don't care about spoilers, stick around. Hey, Grogu. All right, so I took a lot of notes during the movie. For me, the best part of the movie is the third act. I will say that. That is the best part of the movie. It was the battles from Odysseus's monologue that he gave. That was damn good. We had the realization about Zeus's law that it was like a theme through the whole movie. Treat even treat strangers with respect, because you never know if they could be a god. What else was good about this? The Cyclops and Cersei, those were really two good parts of the movie. The actress's name, Samantha Morgan, I believe her name is. She plays such a good Cersei. And I think that whole scene with her and turning the men into pigs, that was like so reminiscent of Guillermo del Toro or other horror directors. I was like, wait, is Nolan fixing to go into horror after that scene? That was so good. And
it was all practical, which is crazy.
Yes. The taking of Troy, that was a really good scene. It opened a lot of questions, which I want to save that for the bad. But that was a good scene. What else? Oh, standout actor for me for this movie was definitely Robert Pattinson. His progression from concerned friend and caretaker of Penelope and her son to this bastard needs to die. He was so good. He was so great in that role. Anne Hathaway, another standout.
Anne Hathaway was great.
Oh. You know, I know parts of her face didn't move. I'm not gonna say why, but he did a great job of showing emotions.
The way he shot Pattinson was a little bit odd. Like there's a lot of side Pattinson.
Yeah,
in there.
John Leguizamo was another standout. I did not know he was even in this movie. Hey, I didn't even know he was in this movie. He did such a great job.
Yeah,
I was like, what? It was like surreal. You wouldn't even know that was John Leguizamo unless you actually. It was just looks like so different from other roles he's played.
The type of actor that Leguizamo seems to be, like very into his craft. I bet you he loved having the role in this movie.
Yeah. Yep. At least that's what he said in the interviews. Very challenging, and it was a lot of fun, and he was given a lot of freedom to do some stuff, which I thought was really cool.
You know, and Pattinson had such nuance and complexity to his character. It was just, you could just see how much of an actor, how much he's grown as an actor since Twilight to The Lighthouse to The Batman, and this is his final form pretty much as an actor. And it's just, he hasn't relied on his name like Tom Holland and Barenthal.
Oh my God.
Please, I'm getting to them at the end. But for the most part, for me, the third act saved this movie. So I'll leave it at that. But those are the good parts of the movie for me. And I think that's it. Did I want to say anything else about this? I did like the theme of leadership. You know, from the men who stepped up to go to the Trojan War to the men that stayed home, and it felt like the men that stayed home stole the lives of the men that were lost in battle. You know, it was just like so powerful, a powerful message, and that was the good for me. So I'll let you go, JJ.
I mean, I think anytime you go to a Nolan movie, the best part is probably the acting and the performances you get out of it. I think everybody did a pretty good job. I mean, you can talk about Tom Holland later if you want, or guys like that. But you know, I mean, for what it is, I think when you get like a Tom Holland with the rest of that cast, he's probably gonna be a little bit outdone. But that's just the way, you know, younger actor or whatever. But like the things I actually remember Degrassi mentioned like 3,000-year-old tale. How you gonna spoil it? But I actually kind of don't. I mean, I think I read this in like maybe in high school. I don't even remember. Yeah. But as far as the actual poem goes, and like, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't remember. Like the closest thing I have is a memory in my head going into it was like the Simpsons parody and the movie Troy, those parts of it at least, and Oh Brother Where Art Thou were about the closest three things I had in my head going in. But I think one of the things that I found interesting was like it was kind of something that a lot of people complained about before it came out. So I was wondering how it would come in. I tried to avoid most of that stuff, but like the kind of the modernization of it, played really well. When I thought, using the more modern dialogue, even though Agamemnon kind of looked, like Darth Vader-esque or so.
That's going to be my bad part.
I mean, I don't know if that was good or not, but this kind of was sticking in my head, I guess. But I'll save some other stuff for bad. But really, I think the best part, I definitely agree with you. The best part was the third act, and I think that's probably the best part of the tale too, probably. But I don't know, the ending. Maybe I'll save that for bad. I don't know. We'll see. But.
All right, Nerdy. What would you like about this movie, The Good?
So, I was that nerd when we were in high school that when we read this, I loved the poem. I've read it multiple times since then. I watched the Armand de Sante, Odyssey 2-part miniseries, and I love that. And I was so excited when I saw this. Like, ever since I read it, Odysseus has always been one of my favorite characters ever. Mm-hmm. I mean, this was Batman before Batman. This is the guy that outsmarted everyone. He wasn't the strongest. He wasn't the fastest, just like everybody says, but he would outsmart everyone. But on the downside, he was that guy that also knew he was smarter than everyone. So that would also be his downfall, his pride, which they didn't seem to push in the movie as much. And I mean, it was there a little bit, but in the books or the poem, his pride is what gets him and his men into trouble a lot. It was there, but not nearly as much as it was before. So I went into this movie hearing all the people talk about how it's the highest rated Christopher Nolan movie ever, how everyone seems to love it. And for the first half of the movie, I was sitting here like, this is a good movie, but I don't know if it's the best Nolan movie. But to me, the third act really saved it, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm also that guy who, as I was watching, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Why did they change that? Oh, that's interesting. They changed this. And it was nothing huge, but there were small changes that they did in the movie that maybe it's what got me out of it, because I was like, oh, why did they change that? And I spent time trying to think of why did they do it as opposed to focusing on the movie. Maybe if I watch it a second time, now knowing the changes, it will hit different. But I did spend a lot of time trying to figure out why they made a lot of these small changes in the movie. And then one thing I did notice, the gods are all over the poem. They're mentioned here, but we never actually see a god. Like even Athena, we technically never saw her. That was all in Odysseus's mind. We never saw her. So they were all over the poem, but they weren't in here at all. They had mention of controlling, and that was something that was a little different for me. But in the end, I did enjoy it. I have two different perspectives. I was talking to Zach earlier about that. I'll talk about later. But overall, I enjoyed the movie.
All right, I'll add to that real quick before Zach goes and say they did do a really good job of balancing Odysseus' character versus what I remember. Because, like I said, every portrayal I remember seeing Odysseus' character in, he is kind of that like arrogant jackass kind of. And in this, like, I felt like he had more true. I mean, there's moments, but also you felt like he had more true regret than in other things than you see in other versions of the tale and stuff. So,
all right, go ahead, fanboy.
No, that's a great little segue, because I think one of the things I really thought was awesome was Matt Damon's performance. Mm-hmm. Like you guys said in earlier iterations of this, it's a lot, I don't know if lighter is the right term, because the tone of the earlier stuff is a lot lighter, but he's a lot more quippy and there's a little more jokey. And this one, I thought they did an amazing job of going into his guilt for what he had done at Troy, because what he did there, violated Zeus's law, and the world was never the same after that. and that's a lot to have on your soul, right? And so I think what was beautiful about it that was different is that in the other ones, it's about a hero getting home. And this one was about a hero forgiving himself enough to go home and to face the people that he loved, because the closer he would get to Ithaca, the more he would sabotage himself and his crew so that he couldn't go home and face those guys or his wife and his kid. And I thought that was a really interesting way to look at it that I'd never, it's never been told that way before. And in a 3,000-year-old story, to have it interpreted this way, for the first time, I thought was a really interesting take for Nolan to do with it. I'm going to stand up for Tom Holland. I thought this is the best Tom Holland has ever been. If you look at his filmography, all of his characters are coming of age guys that need some other person to help them achieve their goal. And he, in this movie, started out like that. And by the end of it, by the time you get to the scene where he yells at all the suitors to get the hell out of the party's over, that's a different Tom Holland. And then you have that conversation between him and Odysseus next to Odysseus's dog that we could probably get into too as well, because I thought that was one of the most beautiful scenes of the whole film. But old Tom Holland would have been emoting a lot more and would have been a little more of a blumbering mess. You look at how he acted in No Way Home, but this was so subtle, and he matured so much as an actor through this film that I think you'll look back at this film as being the film where he turned a corner as an actor. Like, he blew me away. I was like, at the beginning, when you see the trailers, my dad, and they didn't really show anything other than him in the first act and maybe in a little bit in the second act in the trailers. But when he yelled at those suitors, dude, I was like, that's a leading man. And so I think you're going to see him grow a lot more and get a lot more leading man roles after this. And I would not be surprised if he is nominated for a Best Supporting Actor in this movie. I would not be surprised, because I know you're going to get it from Anne Hathaway. She was phenomenal. Her conversation with him about waiting for Odysseus, not only because she loves him, but because they won't ever be okay with a woman on a throne, right? Like we talk, there's a lot of shows and things. You think of House of Dragon deals with this as well, but her having to deal with that as well, and having a little resentment toward her son because what'd she say? I don't have prickles on my chin or whatever,
chin whiskers or something.
Whiskers on my chin. And I thought she was phenomenal. She could have played it really one way the whole time and been this, I miss my man. But she was so great every time she was on screen. And for the majority of the time, she was sitting on a stool making a blanket. And to be super engaging, like her scene with Robert Pattinson, where he's trying to holla at her, and she's like, fuck off, dude. I thought it's just amazing. And then Matt Damon, I forgot to mention this, the siren scene is what's going to win him the Oscar.
Really?
I thought the siren scene was absolutely phenomenal, and doing it that way, I thought was the better way to go, because if you show them singing a song, everyone's going to, that wouldn't have got me to, and there would have been complaints. And what you're getting is him describing the song, and how he described the song was just.
1 second, Zach. I have to do this.
Somebody get these beggars out of here.
All right, go ahead.
But no, I mean, I'm not alone in that sentiment either. I think one of the things that I've seen come out of this is everybody was really blown away by that scene. And I thought it was great, because you could have done it a bunch of different ways, but I thought that was phenomenal. And then what else? Let me check my notes.
You have notes for a reason.
I agree with Zach though about the siren scene. The fact that we see Odysseus's reaction and we don't hear what he's hearing, and seeing that his men watching him and seeing the reaction, I felt like that was way more powerful than what they could have made the siren song sound like. So it just uses your imagination to what is he hearing that's causing that reaction. I think Zach's right. That was a great way to do it.
Oh, and it was just so powerful too, because you're hearing him, the voiceover of him describing it as it's happening, and he's screaming. And I listened to an interview of him talk about how they filmed that, and he was really nervous about it. And he went to ask Nolan, like, hey, how are we going to do the sirens? And he goes, we'll figure it out.
And it's different too, in the fact that you could have filmed it the plain way you see it always, like you said, with the song, but by doing it the way they did, it made, I think, much more of an impact.
Yeah, it was really freaky and really you could feel the energy in the room during that scene where it was just like, it was real heavy. And I thought it was really well done.
And I like how whenever they put the wax in, you could the sound changed to muffled. I thought that was really smart for them to do too.
And the sound throughout this movie was phenomenal. Like when the giant gets stabbed in the eye, I have never heard a sound like that before in my life. And it literally, I thought of that sound for like a couple days after seeing it. Like I saw it on Friday, and through the weekend, I would just think of that. And then it would show up on my feed, you know, on social medias. And I would just,
Yeah, just hearing that was terrifying on its own.
But last two things. Himesh Patel, speaking of the crew members in the siren scene, Himesh Patel, his like commander guy.
Yes.
He blew me away. I didn't even know he was in the film. And he did such a great job. He was so good. I thought he stood toe to toe with Matt Damon, which was a tall task to do because Matt Damon was on fire in this movie. But I thought he did a fantastic job and held his own in every scene that he had with him. And then the last thing was all the practical stuff. So like the giant being a giant puppet, being a practical giant puppet, which I thought was insane how they pulled that off. The horse, knowing that they all were inside that horse, filming that scene, and like, you know, the piss and the shit and the water, like all that stuff, and dudes drowning in that. Like that's something I always wondered. Like they were in that horse for so long. Like how did they go to the bathroom? Well, they did, and then they all drowned and died in it.
That's gonna be in my bag right there. Go ahead.
But as a someone who does this stuff as well, right? Them all sitting inside a giant wooden horse and filming these scenes for weeks on end is such a cool like just thing to learn, because I think that's like indie filmmaking, dude, and like figuring out on the fly when you have like a million, you know, billions and millions of dollar whatever budget, and you're all sitting in there with your director and your director of photography of this, you know, hot giant wooden horse. Like I thought that was so cool, and I loved the look of it. The giants with the armor. Last thing. I thought I see people's complaints about that, but once Troy happens, right, they're going off to sea for 10 years, and I thought the giants in the armor represented that the world is different now after what happened at Troy, and the Zeus's law is over, and now everyone has to learn how to defend themselves and their societies and their kingdoms. And so we're going to start armoring up. Our weapons are going to be different. We're not going to be friendly anymore. And you see at the beginning, Odysseus and his crew telling the actual Greeks we're Greeks, and them being the monsters, and then them going to the giants and getting their asses kicked and their boats destroyed. I thought was a really cool just juxtaposition. And then when you find out at the end that they were the sea people, I thought was so well done, because the movie is kind of two worlds throughout the whole thing. You got back home in Ithaca where it's like you hearing of the sea people. We're trying to figure out where Odysseus is. And then you have the fantasy element of it with Odysseus. And then that all comes back together when you find out through this conversation with Penelope at the end there, dude, that they were the sea people. And I thought that was so good. And the sound and the bow and all that was phenomenal, but I'll probably have to defend that. So I'm going to save a lot of my stuff for my defenses.
What is this notes about defending? Ooh.
Well, no, I'm just saying I got a lot of things that I really like. All I wrote down is what I really like. So I'll save some of those for if I hear that you didn't like it, then I have some things.
All right. I do have maybe a few more good things before I tear into this movie. I really the scene where Odysseus and Penelope sails to the west. You know, it's that whole throughout the movie, bury the dead in the west, and them sailing out to the west, and Tom Holland looking ridiculous in that crown on the pier.
That was a different choice.
You know, it leaves the question open: did they die during that whole battle, and that was just them, their souls sailing off to the west? Yes, Robert Pattinson played a great villain in this movie.
Grab the spears! Grab the spears!
You know, unlike a lot of people, my school, we did not read the Odyssey. We read Romeo and Juliet, The Great Gatsby, Fahrenheit 451, books along that line, because our English teachers were all into sci-fi and stuff like that. And
We read all those too, but also
we're gonna read all those too.
Yeah. Nothing is ever 1-to-1. What else did I have written down? Is it time for me to get to the bad?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Is it?
Ready the shields. Ready the shields.
All right. Let's get to the bad of the movie. All right. I mean, yes, let's get to the bad of the movie. All right. First off, the first 2/3 of this movie, I was bored. I was unengaged. I did not care. It was an okay movie up until the third act. The third act is what saved this movie from being a 7 for me or a 6. The pacing, I did not like the pacing. I did not like the story being told out of order. It felt so bleak. It's just like it was like so depressing. I was just like, oh my God, I want to go outside and get hit by a car or something. It was so bleak the movie was.
I mean, it's not feel good movie of the year though. Like, what do you expect?
But I've seen movies based in Greek mythology that aren't the best, that have done it better than this. Jason and the Argonauts, way better. Clash of the Titans, better than this. Yes.
Sorry, it didn't have Harry Hamlin in it.
I needed Harry Hamlin in this to save this movie. And I know Zach loved the Trojan horse, them being in, peeing and pooping and being in there for like 7 days or whatever it was.
Oh, it was like weeks.
I thought it was like 7 days.
No, they were in there for like multiple weeks.
Okay. Still doesn't change the fact that there was no poop or piss leaking out this wooden horse. It was so sealed up that piss and poop didn't get out, but seawater got in. That didn't make any sense to me.
It can't have flex seal and just spray.
Yes. And
the seawater washed it out.
Yeah, but you would still see poop and piss floating in the water if you could come up to it. And let's just get into Sinon.
That was Sinon, dude. I didn't even get. Oh, Sinon was great.
Sinon was the worst part of this movie. That character had no point to this movie but to die, and I did not care about Sinon.
Let me ask the other guys know more about the story. That character's not in the story, right?
No.
Okay.
No, that was made up for the movie.
You know, and what's the actor that played Sinon?
Elliot Page.
Elliot Page. Horrible acting in this movie. Elliot Page was so much better in Netflix's what's that?
Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy. So good in that. Elliot Page phoned it in for this part. I did not like his character whatsoever. All right. Then let's get into, I wasn't going to say Zendaya. What a waste of a talent actor. She barely had any lines. There was so much they could have done with her, and they chose not to.
It's a huge cast. What the heck?
It doesn't matter. I don't. This whole cameo porn that these directors like doing. Let's see. Let's get into.
It did feel a little bit like, hey, let's cast Tom Holland's wife. Let's do or whatever.
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of what
we cast Zendaya. Like, we'll cast her boyfriend. All right.
It's like a huge cast. I mean, I don't expect every actor in it to have gigantic roles. But
I love Zendaya, but her in Challengers compared to this, it's a waste of
she's the
talent.
star of the movie in Challengers.
I don't care. They could have gave her more lines. All right. Let's get into Agamemnon. Benny Safdie.
Darth Agamemnon.
That was horrible. he looked like he was cosplaying at a Power Rangers freaking convention.
That's the point.
Come on. And then they could have did some, his little voice, tiny voice coming out this big thing of armor was for the voice did not match. Like, what was Nolan thinking? Is this the son of his best friend or a nephew or someone that he got this role? Because that was a horrible casting. All right. And let's get into how comical it was. To the point of every time they stopped, it was just comical. Odysseus was an idiot. Like, he was a fool. Like,
but that's the
it did not like, why were these men following him? He made such bad choices.
Yeah, because he didn't want to go. He did want to go, but that was the beauty of this movie is he did want to go home, but he was so ashamed of what he had done at Troy, and he's literally changed the course of the world.
Yes, but that wasn't that wasn't shown enough. Why these men had so much faith in him and trust. That was not shown in the movie whatsoever.
If you read the Iliad, you would know why.
But people that
shouldn't have to read a 3,000-year-old poem.
You should, yes. This should have been explained, because even though I love the invasion of Troy, it was not long enough. It did not have. It should have been a lot longer. It should have been in the beginning of the movie to explain the motivation of the crew for following Odysseus throughout this whole thing, instead of just throwing him overboard.
I've always said with when it comes to the Iliad and the Odyssey, I will not be happy until we get a 2-season, 10-episode miniseries that the first season is about the Iliad and then the second half is the Odyssey, because there is so much information. Even when you squeeze it into a 3-hour movie, it's just too much to put in there. You can't put all of it in there. It deserves to be a miniseries with the money that Game of Thrones had behind it, and with the same type of effects and everything. That's what it needs to be. Will that ever happen? I doubt it. But if they really wanted to tell the true story of these two, epic poems, that's how it needs to be.
The studio's ideas to back the money truck up to Nolan's house and be like, "Hey, can we make a prequel with the Iliad?"
And I spoke, and I went to go see the movie with people that actually read the Odyssey and knew the Odyssey, and the leaving out of all the assault on women, and from the poem to the movie, I think that was a disservice to all the women that died during the invasion of Troy and that were raped. And it also goes to what was her name on the island?
Calypso.
Calypso. Why Calypso and Cersei don't trust men. I think if it would have showed the assault of women, and because there's no, even though Cersei says because men do this and men do that, I think it would have been more powerful. Because I know I was told the story that the crew actually tried to assault her in the poem. Yeah. And leaving that out, it's just, I don't know, it's just this whole bro thing that was going on through this whole movie. Let me see. Tom Holland and Barenthal, they were out of their depth as actors in this movie. Everyone except Elliot Page were out of their depth. Everybody acted circles around those two in this movie. Barenthal was just playing himself like he always does in every movie. I was waiting for him to say, "You're from Troy? I'm from Troy. I used to be in Troy." That horrible accent. And then, hey, Matt.
Hey, what's up?
All right, and I'll leave it with let me see, anything else that I'm leaving out? And it made it seem like the movie made it seem like everything that was going on with Odysseus, when he was with Calypso, that he was a prisoner of Calypso. She kept feeding him drugs, and he didn't want to leave. And from what I understand from the book, the original, he was a willing prisoner. He could have left at any time he wanted. But that's just
yes
me.
And no, because he never knew how long he was there. Like, time was not flowing in his mind. When they didn't quite show it, but in the poem, when she tells him how long he's been there, he had no idea. He thought maybe a month or two at the most. Mm-hmm. He had no idea how long he was there. She was messing with him.
All right, and I'll leave with this, my last criticism of the film. The lack of gods in this movie. I was looking forward to seeing gods in this movie, from Zeus to Poseidon to Athena, and because a lot of Greek mythology, it's the interaction of humans and the gods, and the gods talking to them, and gods helping them, or getting the wrath of the gods. Like Degrassi said in the chat, that Zeus was just lightning and Poseidon was just water in this. I think it would have been more powerful if you actually saw the gods talking and why they're so against Odysseus. Even though he broke Zeus's law. Anybody got bad? We'll go with JJ again, and then we'll circle back to Matt to give good and bad. Go ahead, JJ.
I don't know. I'm not going to be quite as harsh, probably. It's kind of funny. You guys both mentioned the gods thing. I don't know. While I was watching the movie, again, I'm not super familiar with the tale, but I didn't really miss it that much. But now that you mention it, it does seem like it was kind of funny that it wasn't there that much. I still think they did a decent job, though, of communicating, why Odysseus was the person he was and why he regretted breaking Zeus's law and that type of stuff. So, like I said, I didn't miss him that much, but I can see now from after having it kind of reiterated why not having them there would be kind of a negative. I'm with you on the Barenthal and the Holland. Holland was okay. Barenthal was, I guess they were both what I expected, but I didn't expect much, I guess, was the thing. And I don't know. I think Holland did all right for what he had, and they put him in some kind of ridiculous scenarios, like you said, the crown. It's like some of the stuff didn't make much sense. I didn't really have a huge problem with kind of modernizing it either. I know some people were really off foot by like Agamemnon's arm. He even kind of moved a little bit robotic, like I felt like, which I think was kind of the point. That he's kind of supposed to be almost at least represented like inhuman, like maybe. But I don't know. I won't cite like not having Zendaya or something in there as a negative enough, because like I said, it's a huge cast. Was who played Helena Troy, like Lupita Nyong'o. Like, she's a really talented actress, but I don't, her not having much a part of the movie didn't bother me, because I didn't expect her to have a huge part in the movie. So I trying to think of something that you haven't already mentioned. It's probably can't think of too much, but yeah, I liked it. I guess we're gonna wait to grade it, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll let somebody else go then.
Go ahead, Nerdy. Any bad for you?
So the bad is I had mentioned it before you did, but then you also commented on it. The fact that the gods were really removed from this movie, like, it almost felt like he purposely made it where this wasn't the fault of the gods. This was Odysseus, as Zach is saying, feeling guilty for what he did, and really keeping himself from going home. Like, it felt like Nolan wanted to make it more about that than the gods. And I know Degrassi said that he would have been taken right out if he saw the gods. I mean, we saw Zendaya through this whole thing, and we didn't know to the very end that wasn't Athena. That was just Odysseus's representation of Athena. She was never in it. So no gods actually ever existed except for water and lightning, and that's it.
Yeah,
and then even to the point where like I never heard the Cyclops mention Poseidon. I mean, I don't know how his men did it, but I never heard him say anything about it. Did y'all recognize him saying Poseidon?
No.
You did, Zach?
Yeah, when he has his back to them and he's crying like this, it's hard to interpret, because it's a weird language, I guess. But enough to where I heard it made sense.
Yeah, and then also what you were saying, Bruce, is why did his men follow him? They did make Odysseus seem like he made one bad decision after another, which in all of the stories in the poems, he was always so smart. He always outsmarted his enemies and used his guile to get out of situations. And it just seemed like everything that happened was because of some situation he did. I didn't like how they did that to Odysseus. But again, Nolan changed it where he wanted it. It feels like he wants us to believe this was all the fault of Odysseus himself, not the gods. It was his decisions. It was man's control of their fate that did it. Although the one thing we did see is they did go to the underworld. We did see the dead. We saw nymphs, we saw witches. So we know the mythical creatures were there, but the actual gods were kept out of it. There was a few other things that were changed here and there that I understand, like what you said about the assaults that happened at Troy and things like that, and then with Calypso and Circe. Yes, but I don't think right now modern audiences would feel okay watching that in a movie. I just don't think that's something people really want to touch, especially in this type of movie. So I think they purposely stayed away from it. But I did notice, like, when you saw the women just getting slit, I'm like, oh, it feels like they were letting us see what happened to them and making us imagine what happened. Because I'm like, every time I saw that, I'm like, that's not what happened, but I get why they're changing it. But I mean, that was literally going through my head. Like I said, they changed a lot, but not enough to make it a different story. But it was enough that it got me thinking a lot during the movie instead of just focusing in on the movie. But it wasn't enough to make me not like it. I will go watch it a second time now, knowing all the changes, and see if it makes a difference to me. Mm-hmm. But those were I didn't hate it as much as apparently you did, Bruce. But as I said, I grew up loving this story and Odysseus and all that. And it's what got me into wanting to read Batman and reading about Sherlock Holmes and, all the characters like that. I've always loved them, specifically from Odysseus whenever I read it in high school.
Okay, Zach,
this real quick. Don't you think it would be a slight bit cheesy though, or at all, maybe to just have like the gods sitting around like a table at Olympus and like cut to the gods talking?
Yeah, I don't think that would have worked. I think like a voiceover, something like that would have worked okay, but showing them like that, like Clash of the Titans. Yeah, Clash of the Titans style, that would not have worked. Yeah. But a voiceover or something, or a wispy, ghostly, spirit of one, just kind of like how they had Zendaya, but maybe a little bit more wispy.
Maybe like if they would have had a silhouette of the gods in different parts of the movie, just standing there, or just hear their thoughts, I think that would have worked. Zach, any bad from the movie for you?
I agree with you guys. I wish that it would have made the movie so much longer, but to see more of the trials, I guess, if you will. Mm-hmm. I understand the God thing. Like middle school Zach would have loved to have seen that, but I think they did a great job of communicating what the God's feelings were. I think it was his conversation with Athena where you're supposed to make it home, but your crew is not. And so these are the choices that you're going to have to make. There's this giant thunderstorm that Poseidon does to them that rips the boat in half. And I think there's many, many, many moments throughout the film where you see the gods' reaction to what's going on and what their opinion is of it without seeing it. And, Nolan said, I watched a big interview with him, and he said he wanted to portray the gods as how the people during that time would have seen them. So it was either through things like a thunderstorm, or it would be through visions or something like that, right? So Athena taking the form of the woman that he sees get beheaded in Troy is, may not be Athena how she looks in Mount Olympus, but it's still Athena. And I thought the conversation that he has with Penelope at the end, with her there, where they hold hands and stuff, was a two thing, it had a double meaning. Yes, he was really guilty about what happened to the people of Troy, but also what he did to the gods. And, them making him be the only one of his crew to return home, I think was really important. Because like we said, right, he didn't want to go home, but he did want to go home and had that push and pull. And the gods were going to be like, no, you are going to go home, because if you are going to be the person that is the catalyst for this great change that is now happening in the world, you need to go face that. And I thought that was really important. And so I understood where the gods were coming from throughout this whole thing without having to see them. And I know that in a lot of big movies, like, adventure action movies, things get spoon fed to us as an audience a lot. But when a movie like this comes around where it doesn't spoon feed you the stuff and it makes you think and it has your imagination going throughout the entire film, I think that's what separates this from a lot of stuff that is out nowadays. And it gets, when something has depth to it and the writing is really, really good, it gets mistaken for as pretentious, because a lot of the other movies and things that come out nowadays are not made this way or not written this way and not performed this way. This was done at a very, very high level. So I really liked it, but I don't know. I mean, Agamemnon, I can't even pronounce his name, but his costume was a little different and weird, but it also was him, like, he's a pretender, he's a pretender. And so, like, him being an ugly, kind of weak dude underneath all that armor was, I think, done on purpose. And I think, made that whole go fight for the Helen of Troy thing, that the way it's looked at in the past is some hero story. It's not. And I thought just bringing a reality to the myth, I thought was an interesting way to look at it. You can argue about how, what it looked like and stuff, but the meaning behind it, I thought was cool and important and told a good story. So, yeah.
All right. Matt, what was your good and bad about this movie, since you caught up?
Yeah, sorry, I got everything packed for San Diego and then realized I had to unpack it to jump on.
I might have a list for you for that San Diego trip.
I mean, I'll just start with the bad, where you guys are coming from. Like, I understand what you're saying about the gods, but I think I'm looking at it as a different perspective. As I feel like Nolan really came at this movie with, like, allowing the audience to interpret the gods in the way you would. Like, we don't always, we have a tendency to believe, whether you believe in gods or not, that you relate something in your life to that. And so I like that they didn't show the gods, because it left it open to interpretation of, like, whether you wanted to believe that, oh, well, this thunderstorm was the act of Poseidon, or is it just a thunderstorm? And, they didn't understand weather patterns and everything like that back then. So they accumulated a lot of their stuff towards the gods. So I feel like Nolan left that open to the audience members' interpretation of it. You're going to see gods the way you want to see them. And that's why you kind of have that split. So I didn't mind that so much. I didn't like Tom Holland in this movie at all. And most of the people I talk to disagree with me. They're like, oh no, he was great in this movie. I don't care. In what world is he going to get pushed around by Robert Pattinson? Like, it's like, I don't believe this at all. I thought it was
great for Tom Holland.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have
that's a different bar.
I don't have too many complaints about the movie. Like, for me, it's mostly just I feel like at times the audio was really bad and the lighting was really bad, especially when they're in that thunderstorm. You can't make out what's going on or what they're saying, because it's just all over the place. But I can tell you, when they're in that cave with the Cyclops and that thing screams, I got literal goosebumps and chills, and I've never had that happen in a movie before. But other than that, like, I thought it was only an okay movie. Like, I wouldn't put it at the top of my Christopher Nolan movie list, maybe like 3 or 4 down, but I don't know. It was an okay movie for the most part. Nothing. I don't understand people who are ranting and raving about it being like the best piece of cinema they've ever seen. But
what about your good for the movie?
Listen, I mean, for a 3-hour movie of watching Matt Damon do what Matt Damon does best, try to get home out of a situation, it was good, right? Dude, I think John Leguizamo absolutely crushed this movie for being as hypocritical as he is and always complaining about roles and things like, and who should play who. Like, I think he did fantastic in this movie. And I thought Anne Hathaway did fantastic in this movie. But I had a good time, like from start to finish. It was, especially like the last 45 minutes of the movie, I think were really, really powerful when he actually gets home and him fighting through to give his son the throne and get back to his wife, and kind of the way they went about it. I thought that was really, really good.
All right, so I guess we'll do our final thoughts. I'll kick it off. I had no expectations going into this movie. I'm not a Nolan fan. I did not like any of his Batman movies, except maybe the second one. It was a good movie.
Zach, kick him off your show.
Not even The Prestige. Really?
Interstellar was great.
I did like The Prestige. I'm not watching Interstellar. No, I'm not watching Dunkirk. No, not doing it.
Dunkirk was basically just a lot of them in the Trojan Horse. That's what I feel like Nolan was like, let me shoot 2 movies where I just film a bunch of guys inside of something for about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah. Interstellar's fantastic.
Like I said before, the first 2/3 of this movie, I did not like. I did not feel anything for the characters. I didn't care about them that much. It didn't really come home until the 3rd act. And like I said, Tom Holland and Barenthal and Elliot Page were just horrible in this movie.
Elliot Page, yeah.
I didn't touch on that. I'll give you that.
And Zendaya, I will say this always, Zendaya will make a better leading man than Tom Holland will ever be.
You're going to eat those words. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to eat those words. That's all I'm going to tell you. You're going to eat those words. And I hope he, yeah.
But I could have waited for this to come on streaming. I went to go see it. Even the people I went to go see it with, they weren't too impressed. My theater was completely silent. I had a couple of people walk out before halfway through the movie. Yeah. Yeah.
I never understood that. Like, I'm gonna walk out of this movie.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why people walk out. But for the most part, it was a good movie. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I probably will never watch this movie ever again.
That's a high score for something.
That is a high score.
A high score. I get it.
It's a good technical movie. It's I mean, very well done technically, but it's cold. It's like walking into it's such a sterile movie. It doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't. It didn't bring me joy. It didn't bring me happiness. I just wanted to get hit by a car and like fuck it. Let the gods have me.
What does a 7 movie do for you then?
I don't think I've ever seen an 8 movie where I'm like, fuck it, just hit me with a car. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Actually, maybe 8. Now that I think about it, 8 was too high. Maybe a 7.5.
Dude, I feel like the way you've described it, like a 6 at best.
I was thinking like 4.
Oh yeah, the way you railroaded it earlier, I thought you were gonna give it like a 3.
Yeah, like at best, I would give it a 6 in your opinion.
Like I said, the 3rd act saved this movie. If that 3rd act wouldn't have been as good as it was, this would have been an easy 5 for me.
Let me ask you, did this movie make you guys want to see a Christopher Nolan horror film?
That's what a lot of people are asking that question out of this. And I think it would be really interesting. He was asked about it. And he said he hasn't found any way into that world because it's really visceral. And he talked a lot about the process of filming horror. But I thought the Cersei stuff with the pigs and all that.
Yeah. I think he would kill a body horror film right now.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I think he said he's taking a break for 3 to 5 years or something like this after this.
Yeah, 3-year break.
3 year.
Did anybody watch this in IMAX, by the way?
I did.
I'm going to see it later this week with my dad in IMAX. Yeah. So I'm excited to see.
I saw it at the Dolby. The last few times I've gone to the IMAX, it feels like the Dolby is a better way to see it.
Yeah. I don't have a true. I just have like the digital IMAX. I don't have like the true 70 millimeter.
Yeah.
Like giant. So anywhere near me.
Let's see. JJ, final thoughts.
I'm trying to think of a score. I'll say this much. Like I said, I wasn't bothered by it. It's gonna be weird. I'm probably gonna give it a lower score than Bruce did, but I wasn't bothered by as much of the stuff as Bruce was. I say for a score, I'd say 7 out of 10. Like you put it well. Like it's a very good technical movie. It was a bit. I'll give you the first half kind of pacing was a bit much. 3 hours is a bit much maybe for this, but I mean it's also a hugely long kind of epic poem. I get it. And I went in. If I didn't go in expecting this to be a super long movie, I probably would have felt differently about that because I did go in expecting it to be a super long movie. So I was strapped in for the ride, so to speak. I'd say in the end, like I didn't really have any major complaints. I know some of the people were miscast. Some of the acting was not great. I didn't mind, Agamemnon's, kind of feeble voice in the giant armor thing as much as other people did. So yeah, 7 out of 10 works for me. I will say this much: I'm a little bit disappointed in the movie because now I have to watch John Barenthal and Tom Holland in the same movie twice in 2 weeks. So it's never good. But
all right, Nerdy, final thoughts.
So I feel like I have kind of a unique perspective on this, at least with the panel. I'm thinking. So as I said, I read this in high school. I was that one nerdy kid who fucking loved it and have loved it ever since and have read it a few times. And I remember reading it and just remember reading the Iliad and thinking like how heroic everything seemed and how amazing it was. And, thinking about Odysseus coming home to finally getting back with Penelope and how great that must have been. And then since then, I had joined the military. I did go to war, and seeing it from that perspective now, whenever he got to the point where he came home and he saw Penelope, it started making me think about when I got home and how I was like, wow, I came home with all this PTSD and trauma, and Odysseus just comes home just fine. But then Nolan shows me, no, he's coming home with PTSD. He has all the trauma. They explain it, and it really hit different this time watching it. And then also him talking about, hey, as a kid, again, reading it, heroic. They're going to defend their homeland. They're going to defend, they're honoring their allegiance to Agamemnon, whether he was a good leader or not. History shows he was not, but they honored their commitment. And again, as a veteran, when I went, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. I'm defending my country, my family, my people. And now having the perspective of like, was I just a pawn of the government? Was I just a pawn? And my brothers who died, were they just pawns of somebody else's,
war?
Somebody else's war, somebody else's profiteering. I see both versions of it now, and the fact that Nolan was able to bring that into this movie, I found really personal, and it gave me a different perspective. It made me kind of love it even more than I did as a kid, and to me, it hits different and more personal. So I really enjoyed the movie. I thought Nolan did great, despite the fact that he did change a lot from the original text. But what he did change, I was personally able to relate to. And I think it made me like it even more. So I'm going to give it an 8.47. I mean, I was really able to enjoy it. And it made me think a lot differently about my time in the service and how I thought the original story was compared to how I see it now.
Well said.
Oh, you're muted, Bruce.
Oh yeah, you're muted.
Zach, your final thoughts?
Yeah. Agree with all the things you guys said. I agree with the first, hour and a half. I will say though, I think your thoughts, Bruce, on it making you feel like shit throughout a majority of the movie, I think that was the point. I think you're supposed to feel that because they're feeling that. And by the time you get back to Ithaca and he stands in the doorway of the blind guy's house and says, I forget the line. It was such a cool line too. But and we get to the bow and the boom, like you're supposed to feel. I think that it's supposed to hit more because of how miserable you've been throughout the entire movie. So I really liked it. I think the bow, the end with the suitors and the bow and the sound and him shooting the arrow through the axes was just beautiful. And so between that and the scene with him and the dog, really put the third act over the top for me. I thought it was just so great. And bringing the real world part of the Ithaca storyline stuff and bringing the fantastical stuff together by finding out that he and his guys were the sea people, I thought was just a great payoff. I think Nolan is kind of a master of payoffs. So I'll give it a 9 straight 9 for me out of 10.
All right. Matt?
Like I said, I enjoyed this movie. I kind of got, I don't know, the feeling as Odysseus is talking on the beach that he doesn't want to go home because he doesn't want to be a hypocrite. He doesn't want to go home a liar because he was a big believer in Zeus's law. And with the Trojan horse, what did they do? They went into somebody else's house and slaughtered them all. And when he's wanting to be accepting of everybody in his house, he's doing that. And that's kind of what I feel like Zendaya's character was a representation of when he's talking to her at the end, is he's dealing with that guilt. And like Nerdy said, dealing with that PTSD and that coming to heart moment. For me, like I said, I liked the movie all the way through. I think Matt Damon did a fantastic job in this. Some of the casting is off, like Tom Holland. I didn't mind John Bernthal as much as you guys did, but Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson were the two for me that were like, all right, because the whole time I'm watching Robert Pattinson, I'm like, why is anybody following this dude? He was basically a coward and backed out of having to go to Troy and swapped himself out. So it was like, why is everyone following this dude? I don't get it. So there was some stuff that took it out of me. And there was a couple times where I checked my phone and I was like, oh my God, this movie's only been on for an hour and it's still going. But I'm going to give it an 8 overall. Like I said, I thought the score was really good. There was some power. I've never gotten goosebumps from a moment in a movie before. And when that, like I said, that Cyclops roared, I was like, oh man, like, yeah, it was so good. The audio there was good. There were some lighting problems. Sometimes the dialogue was hard to understand. But overall, as far as a Nolan movie goes, like I said, it was all right. It's definitely not my favorite. That's still going to be The Dark Knight. It's probably a 3, maybe 4 on my Nolan list. So it was worth seeing in theaters, but I think you could wait till at home too. Like Bruce said, it's not. Yeah. I don't get the people glazing this movie the way they are. I don't get the hate for it, and I don't get the glaze for it. It's just kind of like, well, there's 3 hours of my life, and but it was all right for what it was.
You said you saw it in IMAX, right, Matt?
Yeah.
I didn't notice the lighting thing. I mean, it wasn't the world's greatest lighting, but like I didn't notice it that much in the theater I saw. I wonder if that was more of an IMAX thing.
Like I feel like the part after they leave the Sun God's Island and they're hit with that massive storm, it's supposed to be like a really impactful part. And I've talked to a couple people about it, and they're like, "Oh man, yeah, I felt like that was like so impactful. I got so much from that." But for me, it's like the way it's lit and the flashing and the lightning and everything going on, like it's so loud you can't hear what they're saying to each other. The way the lightning flashes it, you can't really see what's going on, and so I felt like that kind of took me out of it. And I feel like the worst parts of this movie are legitimately the times we cut to Tom Holland, because he was just like, my dad, daddy, dad, daddy, dad. And but I think, like I said, Matt Damon crushed this movie.
Sometimes I also think it's weird that coming from a grown man.
Yeah.
Like Tom Holland is not 16 anymore.
Right. Dad, and you would think, like, I thought John Leguizamo's character was going to just start beating people down because of the way he's training.
Yes.
And then he's just getting pushed around, and he just lets Robert Pattinson pick that dog up and walk out and throw it on a crap pile. It's like, all right. Yeah. I thought that was pretty powerful that the dog died right when he walked up, and was just how Tom Holland's character was like, oh man, this must be Odysseus. And so It had a lot of good. I don't have a lot of negatives for it, so I give it an 8.
Nice.
And I'll give it a solid 8 without saying I wish I was hit by a car and the gods took
the most positive -8 ever.
Yes, 7.5.
He adjusted it down half a point.
I might adjust it down again. You never know. Because like I said, Tom Holland and Baron Thor really annoyed me in this movie. I'm not
gonna watch him again.
I'm not. I know.
But I mean, I agree with Bruce. This is a movie that I gave it an 8, but if I never watch it again, I'm okay. Like, I feel like there's no rewatch value here. I got what I wanted from it the first time around, and there's really no rewatch value here.
That's how I felt with the Joker movie. Like, I felt like it was a good movie, but I'm like, I'm never gonna watch that again. But I'm glad I watched it the one time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shows and movies that I enjoy while watching them, and then I'm like, do I really want to watch this again? I think that's the magic of old Hollywood, 80s, 70s, and 90s movies. They have a lot of rewatchability, compared to today's movies.
I almost wonder if that's like a thing. Like, when all the times I think that I went back and I rewatched a movie in my life, like a lot of times it was because it was just on TV.
Yes, it's true.
And that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, you have to purposely go. Like, when the Odyssey hits streaming, I have to purposely go and watch the Odyssey again. It won't just show up on TNT or something at some point.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I flipped through cable and, oh, look, a Harry Potter movie. Let me watch it again.
Yeah. Like, I've seen Rocky like 80 million times because I went back and just Rocky's on TV like 80 million times. So.
Would Shawshank be as legendary if it wasn't running on USA and TNT for all those years that it did?
Yeah.
If I was flipping through HBO and this was on, sure, I'd stop and watch it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to seek it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you everyone for hanging out with us for our review. I don't even know what the next movie is that I want to review.
We got Spider-Man in a couple weeks, dude.
Oh, 2 weeks. Yeah.
More John Barenthal and Tom Holland.
Did you guys get the trailer for Other Mommy?
Yes.
Oh,
that looks so good.
Insane. That scared the crap out of me. When she's under the thing all twisted up, I was like, oh.
Yeah, my son, because my son went with me to watch this, and he jumped and kind of yelped at that part. And he's like, he just started shaking his head, and I'm like, oh, we're going to see that.
I'm definitely going. Yeah, Justin was like, no. I'm like, yes, no, yes, we're going to see it.
You do a streaming
review that looked good.
Demon Slayer. I think streaming this week.
Oh, I'll watch that again because in the movie it was too long. In the theaters, it was too long for me.
Spoiler, 2.5 hours. Tom Holland and Tom Holland's the other mommy. Tom Holland and John Bernthal are the other mommies.
Isn't that what's in Diet?
I like Barenthal in this movie, but I like Barenthal in general, though.
I don't like him.
Really?
I liked him in The Accountant. I liked him in
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street. I loved him in Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, I mean, I like Barenthal.
Oh, it's
I never watched Punisher though, so I don't know how he did in that.
You're from Jersey. I'm from Jersey.
Yeah, I know you.
I feel like he's always the same character for us.
Yes,
that's true. But then, like, was Nicholson any different or Eastwood? They always portray.
He's like Vince Vaughn of action or something.
I don't like Nicholson that much either. I'm just saying.
I
don't know.
Nicholson always hammed it up and everything.
Pedro Pascal is the other mommy.
Yeah.
I nominate Water for Best Supporting Elemental Stunt.
But you know, as what Zach was saying earlier, I can see Anne Hathaway getting a nomination for this. I can see Damon, and I can see Leguizamo getting like a Best Supporting Actor or something.
Ed Nolan will probably get a director. It's going to get nominated for everything.
I think Pattinson will get nominated for Best Supporting.
Yeah, Pattinson probably will.
I don't think Tom Holland deserves to be nominated for anything except for Waterboy for Zendaya. No, he's not.
I'm telling you, going to eat those words.
All right, so
stand on the line for him, dude.
What money they making this month? Zendaya.
So make sure you sub up to Nerdy Geek Comics. Sub up to Absolute Geek. Great wrestling show on Thursdays, and he has SNS on Saturdays on Renovision. And Zach, you can be seen here and also on the Black Order Comic Club YouTube channel. And JJ is on Tax sometimes on Renovision and on is this still a Star Wars show?
Yes, sort of.
Just making sure.
Sometimes.
Let me see. If Tony Gilroy makes Vader, should he shoot it in standard 65mm, which Disney will call force fish?
Yeah, dude, that whole deal is hilarious to look at.
They're making up their own terms now since they couldn't get into IMAX. That's hilarious.
To get these beggars out of here.
Somebody get these beggars out of here.
All right, so thank you everyone for tuning in. Please hit the like, subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know what you thought about the Odyssey and the comments. Have a good night, everyone.